It's 4 o'clock in Los Angeles. It's 6 o'clock in Dallas, Texas. And it's 7 p.m. in New York City. Hi, everybody. I'm Mad Dog the Shipper. Yo, this is Tuesday, and that means only one thing. Michael Armageddon Murphy here. The Mad Dog is here. It's Wrestling with the Future. Back in action. Tonight, a very special Royal Rumble results show. And Mike, you and I were talking off camera, and I said, you know what? We're talking about this. Let's just go on the air and start rolling. Say hi to everybody, Murph.
Hi, everybody. Angelo, you're absolutely right. We are 3 days removed from the 2025 Royal Rumble. We're going to bring you the winners, the losers, who got hurt, who may still have a career and who may not. And we are on the first step to WrestleMania 41.
And I'm going to tell you what, brother. I'm going to tell you what. You know, Leon and Rosie here, and he's saying ECW. That's funny. That's funny. Leave it to Leon.
Move out of your parents' basement. ECW is over and done with years ago. Come up to the new generation.
Right? All right, Murph, let's get right into this.
I said it. I don't care if you like it.
There you go. All right, Murph, let's get right into this. Royal Rumble. Rey Mysterio. I expressed to you my curiosity as to why Ray and Penta were number 1 and 2. Tell everybody what your thoughts were on that.
Well, Ange, my thoughts were, okay, you got Rey Mysterio Jr., hell of a luchador. I mean, it pretty much wrote the history of luchador wrestling. Yeah. And now you have Penta, the young upstart, comes up to WWE, up to the main Monday Night roster. And what do they want to see? Well, hey, let's put these two guys together. Let's see what these two luchadors can show us. And unfortunately, they didn't deliver.
Yeah, sadly, they didn't.
I didn't see any high flying. I didn't see any flips, twists, and turns. I didn't see the typical lucha libre style of wrestling that you would see or get from these two guys.
And that surprises me because the top, I'm thinking like the top 6 or 7 people were Penta, Rey, Santos Escobar, certainly for sure Lucha Libre, Jacob Fatu, people. I mean, these guys, we got some lineage here, and I'm surprised they didn't take advantage of that Mexican style, the lucha style. I'm really surprised about that. But on the other hand, they did, as we said off camera, they did throw a little bit of, the shining light onto some of these, young upstarts, the newbies, the green guys, as we call them in the business, the greenhorns. Your thoughts, Mike, on some of the greenhorns? Talk to me.
Well, a lot of them aren't really greenhorns per se anymore. You got Chad Gable. He's been in the business for a long time. You got Rey Mysterio Jr. again. I think Rey may be looking at, hey, the curtain is slowly starting to come down on his career. Yeah. You had Penta, which, like I said, he's one of the new. He's the new hot thing as far as lucha libre wrestling.
Yeah.
Andrade, not so new, been in the business for a long time. Sure. Santos Escobar, the LWO. Personally, I think the LWO has gone too long. It's gone too far. It's done. It's over. Let it go.
That ship sailed ages ago, Murph.
Right. Santos Escobar. Good up and comer, but other than lucha libre wrestling, they're either not giving him a push or he just doesn't really have what it takes to get himself over.
The biggest surprise for me in the men's rumble, the biggest surprise for me, and I want your thoughts on this, is why did they put Dominic so far into the rumble? He was like number, I think, 26 or 25, something like that. I think the Dominic Mysterio, yeah, I think he was like number 26, right? Why did they put him so far in?
I think more of comic relief. Because when you're watching a match that's going that long,
Yeah.
okay, this guy's doing this guy's doing that. Your eyes are darting all over the ring, seeing who's doing what. You need to bring, Dum Dum into it. And
okay, that's a good point. That's a really good. I'm going to stop you there for a minute because I want to carry on because Leon just brought something up that ties into exactly what you're talking about. Ray is 50. He says he doesn't think he's going to be competing too much longer, and I believe that because if you see Ray lately, he's been appearing without his mask in public. He never did that before. That's a sacred thing. You know that. That's a sacred thing for a luchador. But on the other hand, Dominic Mysterio, you say comic relief. I think Dominic can be a hell of a worker if they know what to do with him. They gotta put this kid in a prime spot so he can show what he's got to everybody. And why are they not doing that?
Well, I tell you what I saw when him and JD McDonough, who first I want to say, hey, JD, hope you get better soon. Hope you're feeling better. Don't push it too hard. Come back when you're ready to come back. When I saw him wrestling the War Raiders, I saw an actual wrestling side of Dominic Mysterio. I was like, oh wow, wait a minute, this kid can actually work.
Yeah, he can.
I think what they're doing is I think they're slowly bringing him along, and I think that they want to see how he develops. Now, what I mean by that is they want to see how he develops, as in what you saw him do with the War Raiders. Is he going to be able to work like that on a regular basis?
That's the question, isn't it? That's really the question.
Yes, it is.
You got an answer for me? Because I'm lost, brother.
I'll be honest with you. I think Dominic Mysterio can do a lot more than he's getting credit for. I
absolutely agree.
I think they need to give him a push.
Yeah.
And I think that I think he needs to get a title around his waist.
Okay, let me ask you a question about that. You and I know the only reason you give a guy a strap is either because he's not getting over or they don't know what to do with him. What's the case in Dominic's situation? You think, does he need that to get over the hump?
I don't think he needs that to get over the hump. I think that if him winning a title, I think would actually only enhance what he's already starting to bring. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it would be. I just think it would enhance what he's already bringing to the table, and I think it would. I think he would work just that much harder.
You know what? I can see that. Question about your buddy, the guy that you call Nazi Light, Ludwig Kaiser. Ludwig Kaiser. Let's talk about they stuck Ludwig dead center. Dead center. Why did they waste him in the middle of the card here? If
Mostly because Santino, Barella is in TNA, and they couldn't get him up for a Royal Rumble to do the quick in and out, so they used Kaiser to do the same thing.
And that's a shame too, because if I'm a guy that's booking this, I want to get some mileage out of the guy because I think he's quite entertaining. I really do. I think those, that Third Reich angle that they're doing is actually, as far as Nazis, as far as Nazis go, is pretty entertaining. By the way,
now
in case, just so you know, and
hold
Murph
on
and I, go ahead.
First, let me state for myself and the show, when I say Ludwig Kaiser, Gunther, no, they are not Nazis. Okay. I question some of the outfits they wore coming out, like, that looks a little Third Reichish. What we here at this show are in no way, shape, or form saying that they are white supremacists, saying that they are Nazis. We are not saying that whatsoever.
Let me make that very, very clear. Let me reiterate what Murphy is saying. We are not in any way, shape, or form promoting white supremacy on this program. This is a program that is full of diversity, inclusion, whatever you want to call it. We're open for everybody. We just happen to like the white supremacists more. No, I'm kidding. I'm only kidding.
Oh, Jesus.
Well,
it was nice working here for as long as it lasted.
I swear to you, I'm only playing. I just saw Mike Murphy's hair get a little bit whiter than it already is. Who's in the chat? Let me see something here. Oh, here you go. Leon. Here you go, Murph. I'm going to take the heat off of us. I'm going to throw the heat on the Leon. Leon, give me your take, Leon, on Gunther and Kaiser. Good idea? Bad idea? Do you think too much too soon? As my friend Mr. Murphy likes to say, too soon? So, but the other thing, Murph, in the Rumble that surprised me, Nakamura coming in at 20, Finn Balor coming in at 18 and 19. I'm sorry, at 19, Nakamura 18, Finn Balor comes in, and they waited till number 17 to pull in Drew McIntyre in the middle of the card. Wouldn't they be more suited at the beginning of the card to pop it a little bit?
What, to pop it, to bring McIntyre in sooner?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see where you would get the pop. But I mean, how long would that pop last for?
Well, that's the question. One never knows. One never knows. The other thing that along that line, LA Knight. Okay, what are they going to do with this? What are they doing with LA Knight? Please tell me, why is he still there? Besides the Slim Jim contract.
Well, I actually like LA Knight. He's agile, he's quick, he's built, and he can wrestle. And he's got a good thing going. But what, and he's 49
years old.
Knows.
And he's 49 years old.
Well, I'm not saying he hasn't been around the block a couple times. But what I am saying is, I think they've got a real talent there.
Right?
I think they just need to really give him a push. I mean, he won the U.S. title. Then he lost to Shinsuke Nakamura. And then what? Okay. What happens now?
He's been with the company for
I
10 years. How much of a push does he get?
But yet I see, well, that's just it. He's not getting the push he should. But yet they're giving a hell of a push to that do-nothing Logan Paul.
Well, my question would be, and you're making my point for me. My question would be, they're not pushing him. Why is he still there? Why hasn't he left for somewhere else? You know, WWE is not the only, they're not the only game in town anymore, brother. You know?
You know what? You're absolutely right. They're not the only game in town, just the best paying.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm not going to argue with that for sure. All right, now let's talk a little bit about your favorite subject, the women. Let's talk about the women's rumble. Give me the good, the bad, and the completely forgettable with regard and with regard to the women. Who was the brain trust that decided to put Io Sky at the number one spot?
Actually, I think Io Sky starting out at number one. I think the reason they did that is, let's be honest, she's done the impossible in matches before. She's pulled off Hail Marys. I mean, come on. She came off the top of a cage with a trash can on her head. You know, I think they put her in there because I think they look at her as she's durable, she can work, and okay, we're going to put her in there, and it gives the crowd, hey, they put Io in at number one. I wonder if she's going to go all the way.
I mean, that's what you're describing to me is very, very reminiscent, Murph, of the time that Mick Foley went in at number one on the Royal Rumble, and he lasted all of about 9 minutes before he was completely exhausted. Now, Io Sky is younger, lighter, thinner, a lot easier on the eye than Mick Foley is for sure. But the problem is, I think that her talent, and you're absolutely right, she's very durable. That's the kind of durability you don't want to waste it at the number one spot. You want to bring her in at number 10, number 12, 13. Bring her in a few. That again, I'm a promoter. I was a promoter for a long time. I'm putting my booker hat on here. That's where I'm going with this. If I'm rebooking the show, that's where I got to go with it. But they put her in, and she gets eliminated by Sonya Deville. Another one they wasted early on, you know? Because Sonya was fairly, I think she was number 12 or 13. She was number 13, I believe. Right? And so,
I believe.
Yeah, so they put her in at number 13. They should have waited again at number 15 or 20. I'd say number 20 easy, because then you can build something at the 20 spot. Because now people are getting ready to go home. They're getting ready to go over the top rope. So, the main contenders are going to stay, right? Tell me if I'm wrong.
You know what? I'm not saying you're wrong, but I think a lot of it has to do with, okay, we got all these people in the ring. After they get eliminated, what storylines can we build between them and who eliminated them? What feuds can we build up? That kind of thing. So I don't think they were doing it purposely. I think they were doing it, to, make you scratch your head. I think they were doing it more from the, what more can we get out of this aspect?
And that's exactly, Michael Armageddon Murphy, that's exactly where I hoped you were going to go with it. because that's what, as a promoter, that's what I'm thinking. How much money can I make down the road? How can I take these people and run a program with them? Right? That's the whole idea. Let's get some mileage out of this. I think what they did, to put it in terms of a man and a woman, I think they came too quickly and the party's over.
The one major thing that I did not like about the Women's Royal Rumble, and I found the whole show, the Royal Rumble, I found the whole show to be very entertaining. The one thing I didn't like was Charlotte Flair winning the Women's Royal Rumble. She's been gone for what, 2 years?
Yeah.
And then she comes back, and I come back from this injury and I win the Royal Rumble and I'm going to WrestleMania. Come on. What am I, 10? You think I'm actually going to sit here and believe that? Yeah,
crazy.
It just didn't. The fact, and then last night they have her come out wearing this yellow leather miniskirt, this bright yellow. I mean, she looked like a lemon. And
right. Yeah, right.
She comes out, and then Rhea Ripley, who, let's face it, if you want to compare injuries, look at the injuries that Rhea Ripley has suffered compared to what Charlotte Flair suffered. Yet Rhea still got in the ring as soon as she could. And, well, I'm back. You've got to put me over. No.
Let me tell you something. Here's the difference. Here's the difference. Here's the biggest difference between Charlotte and Rhea. Rhea can work. Rhea doesn't care about getting hurt because she knows the best way to get better is to work hurt. Quote The Undertaker. Number one. Number two, Rhea Ripley doesn't have a father that's a whiny ass playing politics for his daughter. And let's just be honest about it. If Charlotte's there, then Rick's not far behind. Hate to say it, folks, but it's true. Murphy, we've been in this business a long time, you and me, Murph. A long time. Now tell me if what I'm saying is accurate or bullshit or I'm making stuff up. You tell the people.
Yeah, you're hitting the nail right on the head. You're hitting the nail right on the head. And I think if come WrestleMania, if Charlotte goes after Rhea Ripley, I think and they put Charlotte over, I think they would be doing a disservice to Rhea Ripley. That would be them saying, hey, we appreciate everything you've done, but we don't care.
It's like that when you just said reminded me of the Dusty Rhodes Hard Times promo. You know? That's exactly what it reminded me of. You know? A computer just took your place, Daddy. You know, to give you a gold watch and slap you on the ass and say, good luck. Here's the thing. I don't think... I really don't think, and I want your comments on this. That's why I'm going a little bit with this. I think they're not going to screw over Rhea because she has got far, far, far too much fan support. She is universally loved by the men as well as the women, and everybody in the locker room loves this woman. On the other hand, Charlotte Flair is a whiny ass bitch. Your thoughts, Michael?
As far as Rhea Ripley, the best way I could put it is all the men want her and all the women want to be her.
Absolutely,
as far as Charlotte,
Woo.
As far as Charlotte goes, let's face it, she'd been out for 2 years. Everybody pretty much forgot about her. Tell me I'm wrong.
No, and that's the point. You're not wrong. You're 1,000% spot on. So why does she come back and win her first match after a 2.5 year absence? First of all, it does not take 2.5 years to heal the injury she had on her leg. It's about a 6 to 8 month, maybe 6 months. Okay? Maybe 6 months. So, all right, I'll give her, maybe she had a little bit of vacation time coming. But who cares? No, look, they did fine without her. They don't need her, that's for sure. You know, the money they're paying is, I don't understand why everybody's so like, what is it about? What? Because she's Rick's daughter? Really? Yeah.
Right there on the nose, Daddy.
Right on the nose.
Because
she's Rick's daughter, of course.
Because she's carrying on that name, Flair. Ric Flair can't come back because he's too old and he's too busy, like I said, making videos of drinking and smoking weed with Mike Tyson.
Yeah. And whoever else wants to smoke with him. All right, you just said something very important, Michael. Very, very important, Armageddon. The legacy wrestler. Randy Orton is about ready to retire. John Cena is about ready to retire. So is Ray Ray. Now, my question to you. Do we have too many legacies in the business? You got Dominic Mysterio, Jacob Fatu, Jay and Jimmy Uso. The whole Anawati tribe is represented in the Fatu Uso family because they're all the same relative. They're all related. The other question is, do you think the day of the legacy wrestler is coming to an end? For example, how long? Don't forget, Charlotte Flair's the last Flair. There's not going to be another Flair. There's not going to be another Mysterio. Dominic is it. He's the end of the line, brother. You know? Your thoughts, Mike?
Excuse me. Well, my thoughts, I'm going to start with, let's start with Randy Orton. Randy Orton getting hurt again. Granted, he's in great shape. He can still work. He's a pleasure to watch work. But it's the time has crept up. The injuries are creeping up. You know, he's not recovering from injury as fast as he used to. And so, I mean, is it time for Randy to go? I think it would be time for Randy to, walk off into the sunset.
Right.
As far as the Anawati clan, I'm not going to comment on that, mostly because I trained under Alpha Anawati. Right. So there's kind of a conflict of interest there.
Randy Orton is 45 years old, Mike. How much time has he got left?
Well, I wrestled actively until I was 50. I'm 58 now. My last match was against the late, great Nikolai Volkov.
Right.
So of course, I also started when I was 30. I started late.
Right.
I think it's time. I think it's time for Randy to hang him up.
I think you're right. Absolutely. Mike, I want you to
Rey
take the
Mysterio
floor.
Jr., time to hang it up. Like I said, the Anahuac clan, I'm not going to comment on that because conflict of interest.
Well, it's not
But if
really
you
a
look at
conflict.
them,
It's not really a conflict of interest. And I'll tell you why I asked you about the Anawais. Notwithstanding Alpha and Sika, rest their souls, great guys. That's a big family. And there's a lot of wrestlers in that family. That is what they do. That's all they do is wrestle. Are there too many Samoans, too many Islanders in wrestling right now, in the particularly the WWE? I mean, there are so many, Mike. There's a whole angle called the bloodline, the new bloodline, the old bloodline, the tribal chief, the new tribal chief. How long can you do that? Is what I'm asking you.
well, as far as the bloodline goes, if you'll notice, Jey Uso, who won the Men's Royal Rumble, God bless
Yeah.
him,
Beautiful.
he's doing his own thing. Jimmy
Okay.
Uso doing his own thing. Roman Reigns, God only knows what he's doing. Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga, whatever. I mean, they're doing whatever. I think they're all trying to make their own way.
Oh shit, that's funny.
And they paid their dues. They came up, they worked hard, they trained hard, they came up, they got their spot, and they paid their dues. Should they? I mean, it would be like saying, well, we have too many, we've got, well, look at it this way. It's like saying, well, you've got Drew McIntyre, you've got Sheamus, Lyra Valkyrie, Becky Lynch.
Right?
Oh, we got too many Irish in there. It's like saying the same thing.
Right?
But each one has come up and made their own spot.
Yeah. Interesting. Give me your thoughts, Murph, on some of the girls from TNA. Do you think that they're looking at them seriously to bring them up, or are they just teasing everybody? I'm thinking about Jordan Grace. I could see her and Valkyrie having a program together. I think it will be a hell of a program. Your thoughts? What do you think about the girls of TNA?
The girls from TNA coming up, I think would be a good thing because Jordan Grace, I mean, damn. I mean, she picked up and slammed Nia Jax. That's saying something.
She's a strong young woman.
Oh, yeah. I think the girls from TNA coming up, I think they wanted to give them, not that it was Jordan Grace's first time at a Women's Royal Rumble, because she was there last year, but I think they wanted to give some of the girls from TNA coming up, give them an opportunity to feel what it's like to be in front of a crowd of 70,000, 80,000 people.
And I think that's a good thing because they're wrestling in front of 1,500 people, 2,000 people, which is a nice house show for a small company. But let's be honest about it. That little company's got some power-packed talent. They got some talent there. It's a shame that nobody knows their name. I think that's a crying shame.
Yeah.
They need to. They really need to like step up, and out of the shadows, and they need to bring them, to main event television. That's the other thing. They don't have big TV. The television they have only reaches maybe 2 million people. WWE is like 50, 60 million people at any given time. You're talking about a worldwide, a global broadcast. TNA is just domestic here in America. They don't see TNA in other countries. They
Right,
don't know what
right.
it is. So
I
take a
would
few
like to
minutes.
see. I would like to see the old style, but with the newer people, the younger crowd. Take like the crowd of today, put it in the old style Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon wrestling.
There you
Now
go.
I'm not talking about funny characters and that kind of junk. I'm talking about take the wrestlers of today, put them in a small setting like the old NWA, where they'd be off camera cutting a promo, but the ring is only like maybe 30 feet away from them.
Yeah.
Something like
Yeah.
that, where a match between someone like a Roddy Piper and a Ole Anderson could pop off at any given moment.
There you go.
Something like that. I'd like to see that come back, and I think that would be um what's how should I put it? I think that would be a good training tool to
Well,
bring some of the younger kids up.
isn't that what NXT was supposed to be? You know?
Yes, yes, it was, but I think they became a victim of their own creation.
Probably. I think you're right. See, Kenneth Jarrett Singleton's in the chat. He goes, the studio shows were awesome. I remember studio wrestling. By the way, you might be interested to know that it was Bruno Sammartino who came up with the idea of studio wrestling. It started in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and the first studio match was Bruno Sammartino versus the guy with the claw, Baron von Raschke. Baron von Raschke. That was the first studio match, followed by Dick the Bruiser and the Crusher. And then studio wrestling took off across the country. Then Crusher, the Sheik, all those guys, Vern Gagne, they all had their own version of studio wrestling. But our studio wrestling here in the New Jersey, Pennsylvania area, particularly Philadelphia and southern New Jersey, was at the Philadelphia Arena on 45th and Market Street. And they only allowed a certain amount of people for studio wrestling. That was the studio. And then when they did the weekend shows, they opened up the whole building. But that's where studio wrestling in Philadelphia was from the old arena on Market Street, which is now a drugstore. Anyway, It's a shame, too, because there was a lot of history in that building. Kenneth Jarrett Singleton, my question for you, young man. What was the first match you ever saw from studio wrestling? What city? Who was the combatants, the participants? And who was, most importantly, who was the announcer? Because I'm going to throw a name at Michael Armageddon Murphy and see if he remembers this name. Chilly Willie, Bill Cardell. You remember him?
Kind of.
Pittsburgh Wrestling.
I remember the name.
Studio wrestling from Pittsburgh. I'll tell you who Bill Cardell was, Murph. If you ever saw the movie called it was a zombie movie. Return of the Living Dead. It was called Return of the Living Dead. It was a zombie movie. Bill Cardell was the announcer in that movie. And because it was filmed in Pittsburgh. Just a little trivia. And all the extras were wrestlers.
My first studio wrestling match that I remember, and it was on a Saturday afternoon, about 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. It was Chief Jay Strongbow and Billy White Wolf versus the Executioners, managed by Classy Freddie Blassie.
Do you know who the Executioners were?
No.
I will tell you. Stan the Man Stasiak, and Killer Kowalski.
Okay.
Under a hood.
I think I was 6 years old when I saw wrestling for the first time, and that was the match.
And I was, oh my God, my first live show. I was 7 years old. Philadelphia Arena, Bruno Sammartino versus Killer Kowalski, followed by the Valiant Brothers versus Captain Lou and Tony Altamari. The Sicilians versus the Valiant Brothers, which was unusual because there were two heel teams going up against each other. Okay, Murph, we got to talk about before we. Go ahead, Murph. You got it.
Well, one thing I want to bring up while we're on the issue of studio wrestling.
Yes, sir.
Over the years, we've seen a lot of people go into the WWE Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And there's a lady out there, and I call her lady because she is a lady. She is grace, class, cunning, and brains, and beauty all at once. That is not in the WWE Hall of Fame. And I think we should somehow get the word out and have people petition to have her inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame because, in my opinion, she was one of the original divas. And her name is Nicola Baby Doll Roberts, the perfect 10 Baby Doll. I think she should be inducted, and I think that it's a tragedy that she hasn't been inducted yet.
Interesting. Very, very interesting. Murph and I talked about this off camera. We both know Baby Doll. Baby Doll has been on this show 4 times. She's been here 4 times, and she's always a great pleasure to have whenever you can get her. But she's so busy, it's tough to get her sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
We are, and I want, if you're out there listening, I know Leon's there, Rosie, Kenneth is here, Amelia's out there watching the show, and everybody, all the rest of the crew, El Ruffian, you guys are listening and watching. Murph and well, I'll get your name right. My teeth are slipping. Murph and I are trying to rile the troops together to get Nicola Roberts' Baby Doll petitioned for the Hall of Fame. We're trying to get a little steamroller going here. If you guys can help us, Ruffian, here's Ruffian. Ruffian, I need you. I need Kenneth. I need Leon. Amelia, I need all you guys. Amelia's out there trying to. Oh, Amelia says, I want to see China inducted as well. By herself, by the way. By herself. Yeah. First event was at MSG. Undertaker. God, you're young, brother. My first event was 1965. 1965. I got you all beat.
Well, let me tell you something, Angelo. When I wrestled, it was in a concrete ring with concrete ropes.
Now you sound like Bruno, rest his soul. Jeez. Brother, I'm going to tell you, no, for real. My first match was 1965. I remember. It was, and I'll tell you what, boy, that building was falling down then. And it lasted another 20 years after that. I know Jimmy Valiant and I talked about that building. He loved that building. He loved that old arena, man. I want to talk to you guys. We're trying to get, as I said, we're trying to get Baby Doll at least looked at. So if anybody out there wants to take it upon themselves to kind of guide Murph and I in the direction we need to go, we're all ears. But we are, by the way, any suggestion you got, bring it. The other thing I want to talk about, Murph, real quick, because we got to talk about this. The connection there is that now on paper, there is now on paper a working deal with WWE and TNA. They have formed a memo partnership that includes talent sharing, crossover opportunities, and benefits for both companies. TNA wrestlers will appear on NXT programming, and NXT wrestlers will appear on TNA programming. The partnership will create new opportunities for crossover matches between TNA and NXT. This benefits both parties. The partnership is good for business, it's good for the companies, and it's good for the viewer because it expands the viewer's opportunity to see more wrestling from more unknown people. Look, everybody wants to know, how do you become a superstar? By paying your dues. This is how you pay your dues right here. If you don't believe that, ask Mike Murphy. Ask him how he feels when he gets up in the morning. Right?
Well, I remember I get up in the morning. I remember when Snap, Crackle, and Pop is what I used to have for breakfast. Now it's what I do in the morning.
Exactly. Murphy, promote yourself. What do you got to promote?
Yes,
What's coming up? What is coming up for Mike Murphy?
Well, what's coming up for Mike Murphy is the Fun in the Sun. It happens the first week of March every year. Daytona Beach, Florida. I'm heading down for Bike Week. If you see me on the street, come on up, take a picture. I'll sign an autograph, shake your hand, whatever. I'll be down there. I've been building a show bike. I'm going to be taking it down and entering in some different shows and stuff. And I will be, Angelo, I will be taking my computer with me. So we will be, so that way we won't miss any of Wrestling with the Future. Also, I will be sending Angelo some snippets of what it's like down there, what some of the bikes you will see, the beautiful women, the sunny sandy beaches, the cool drinks. It's like how can I describe it? Daytona Bike Week is like a carnival for bikers.
There you go. It's called Sturgis Light. Sturgis Light. On that note, for Michael Armageddon Murphy, you realize I've known you for 26 years? Holy shit, brother. Oh, my God.
Yep.
That's a long, and I still like you after all that fucking time.
Well, I told you, I love you more than my luggage.
Go fuck yourself. Get out of here. We'll see you next week, folks. Take care. God bless you. Don't let the door hit you in the ass. Goodbye.